Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hartford Pokemon TCG Regional Championships. We finished up with Round 1, and Round 2 is now ready to get underway. My name's Cora Georgiou, joined by Ray C, and we've got Dakota Gillanders up against Ryan Sabelhause, two pretty well-known names in the Pokemon TCG community. And it's going to be Golisopod with a Gumshoes tech up against Volcanion.
Yeah, this matchup is going to be really one-sided, most likely, because as you could see, the Golisopod is weak to fire. And Volcanion happens to be fire.
Makes it very difficult for Dakota to ever play ahead in this matchup. The Gumshoes tech actually is for Gardevoir and Ho-Oh decks that play Kiawe. It really punishes decks that load up a lot of energy very early on onto one Pokemon and then knocks out that Pokemon, forces them to play from behind where they lack energy going through the rest of the game. But this is a Volcanion build that does not run Kiawe. So very different circumstances. Gumshoes not going to be very effective here.
Yeah, as we see, he has the, what we call baby Volcanion. That's usually what you call the non-EX version.
Baby.
So he has the baby Volcanion, which is a card that he's going to be using to help him set up. It allows you to attach a fire energy from your discard onto one of your bench Pokemon, as well as doing damage. So he's going to use his early turns to just try to power up his benched Volcanions. And this deck that they're running, Ryan, it's very consistent. It is just a lot of 4-ofs, a lot of just, this is my game plan.
It's very linear.
And I'm going to execute this game plan. Similar to Gardevoir, except it doesn't have as much setup. You're going right out of the gate. As you can see, going second, sometimes it's actually a pretty big disadvantage. Like we saw in the last matchup, going second was bad because you just wanted to set up. Whereas here, you can actually abuse being able to attack first. And use Power Heater.
This start from Ryan Sabelhause was absurd. Let go of his whole hand, was able to Sycamore back up for 7, gets the 2 energy in the discard. Now he can Power Heater and attach those 2 energy onto his bench Pokemon.
And he plays Enhanced Hammer, so this deck is consistent. It plays a lot of 4s. It's very linear. There's a lot of room for techs, whereas in Gardevoir you have to spend all those cards just playing your stage 1s, your rare candies, stuff like that. This deck does not have that. This deck is just teched out. You're playing cards like Enhanced Hammer. You're playing cards like Fighting Fury Belt to make your Pokemon very resistant and healthy, very bulky. You're playing 4 Guzmas.
You got a copy of Lily. If you can get that 8-card hand on the first turn, that can be really, really effective there. So 4 Sycamore, 4 N, 4 Guzma, a copy of Lily, so much draw power. Obviously, a copy of Arangaroo as well. You can use Instruct and draw 3 cards reasonably regularly. You're looking to discard a lot of fire energy, then reattach that fire energy, steam up every opportunity you can get, and do absolute maximum damage that way. But when Dakota's Golisopods are naturally weak to fire, you don't even really need to use that steam up ability. You don't need to get rid of your fire energy because any of those volcanic heats from Volcanion are just going to knock out Golisopod.
You don't need to do 3 million damage when 1 million is
130
enough.
is 260 is enough.
Yeah. And it looks like Dakota obviously recognizes this. Instead of going for more Wimpods and such, he's going for Tapu Kokos to try to just avoid using his Pokemon that are weak. Like, he's just going for the... We even saw him try to set up a Rangaroo early on, as opposed to attaching to a Wimpod. He's just trying to set up his non-weak-to-fire attackers.
But this deck is very...
Another Enhanced Hammer comes down.
Oh, that is absolutely horrible for Dakota. Not able to make anything stick, and you're only able to run, obviously, 4 copies of Double Colorless Energy in this deck because it is a special type of energy. If you don't have access to additional Double Colorless Energy, now you've lost 2. Flying Flip is much more difficult to get on board. And yes, Golisopod has so much potential damage with First Impression. You can do so much for so little. But how are you going to find that one-hit knockout? You're going to need to do 180 to take out a Volcanion EX. That's difficult to do.
And taking out these baby Volcanions is honestly not going to do much for you. They're only single prize attackers, and they only have 1 energy on them. These guys are powering up all your big dudes for almost no cost at all for 1 fire energy. So knocking these guys out.
But the energy that you put
much.
onto your baby Volcanion is then paying back double every turn that you're able to return 2 from your discard to your actives, or your bench, excuse
you're
me.
2 benched. And it's just a bad trade, obviously, because you're killing the Volcanion, and then you're getting knocked out if you go with the Golisopod. You're going to get knocked out by the Volcanion EX.
Yep.
So that's just a bad trade. You're trading 1 for 2. That's just a bad deal. If I give you $1 and you give me $2, I'm going to give you a lot of $1 bills. Wait, what? No, wait. If I give you $1 and you give me $2, then I'm up $1.
I'm not giving you $2. You owe me $1 as is.
Oh, crap.
I only promised you $1 for knowing what Carbank's name was, and then you needed $2 for a water bottle. So you owe me $1. So there's no way I'm giving you $2 more.
That was a bad analogy. I should have never said that.
Ryan totally retreating his 1 Volcanion, using Guzma, bringing back out the other, and basically just has full reign of this matchup right now. Dakota playing from behind has no big attackers, no energies, nothing that he can do to get a knockout, and Ryan is set up on both baby Volcanions. That Volcanion EX needs 1 more energy to be able to actually use Volcanic Eat and start knocking out everything that Dakota has in the deck.
Honestly, I'm pretty good friends with Dakota. He stayed at my house for multiple state championships, and he's an emotional player.
So you're playing favorites is what you're
No. I can tell by his body language. I mean, he's smiling right now because they were
hurting
laughing,
inside.
but like, yeah, you can tell by his body language that he is not happy about the situation at all.
This is the worst matchup, right? This is why Volcanion is good again, because Golisopod is a tier 1 deck.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's like you've got Gardevoir, Golisopod, and then Fire, whether it be Salazzle or Pure Volcanion, being the 3 tier 1 decks, and then those decks sort of work with each other, right? Golisopod's pretty good against Gardevoir. Fire obviously beats Golisopod, and then Gardevoir can take out Fire because it's difficult for them to reach the 230 damage threshold to take out Gardevoir. So those 3 decks sort of rock, paper, scissors with each other, and unfortunately for Dakota, he went paper and Ryan went scissors.
Yeah, that is how rock, paper, scissors works.
It is.
The scissors cuts the paper.
Fact.
And looks like Ryan is going with another Max Elixir, and he whiffs. I mean, honestly, it's not a big deal.
It's bad, but you've still got a 3 energy fully set up Volcanion EX with a Fighting Fury Belt in your active position. You've got Turtonator being set up on your bench. You have 2 baby Volcanions that can use Power Heater whenever you need it. One as a Floatstone, one as a Fighting Fury Belt. You're fine. You're looking great.
Yeah, once you take out both of these Tapu Kokos, what does your opponent have to even attack with? Oranguru costs 3 energy to attack with. Both 2 DCEs are gone from the Enhanced Hammers. There's just not many resources
left. It's like you have Flying Flip.
Oh, wow. Dakota actually just scoops.
He knows that he can't do it. Okay, well, this means that if Dakota gets a better start in Game 2 and Ryan Sabelhause gets a worse start, then potentially we could get all 3 games in. We saw in our first round, Sam Chen did end up taking that round, but we timed out on game number 2. We couldn't even finish
and there was
game
one
number
prize
2
left for Sam's opponent, and Sam had 2, so that was like very, very close.
Yeah, Eric almost had that one, but there was no way they were going to get to a game 3. That game wasn't even going to be done with the 3 additional turns after the clock ran out. Playing that clock is sometimes as important as playing your actual opponent. You can't play your opponent if your clock's running out.
Yeah, and this is a very smart move by Dakota to scoop so early on, because it shows that he has awareness of the time in the round. It shows that he is a very experienced and veteran player in the tournament field, because this is what you do. If you are a pro player and you know there is a 0% chance of winning the game, you just concede and go into the next game, because you know that if you want to win the whole match, you don't want to tie. You do not want to tie.
No, you got to win 2 out of 3.
Horrible. Dakota needs to win 2 games. He has 40 minutes to do that now because he scooped early on. If he had dragged that game out for another, say, 10 minutes, because honestly, it could have gone on for that long.
Yeah, he had enough Tapu Kokos, Tapu Leles in play that he could have stalled it out. Oh, and Dakota going to have to take a mulligan there, but Ryan taking a mulligan as well, so no additional cards will be drawn.
Yeah, so back to the time. Dakota, he's just giving himself enough time to be able to win the whole set. Whereas if he had waited anymore, there's a chance that he just wouldn't have the time to win. And granted, even 2-0ing Ryan at this point is going to be
tough.
A very difficult task. At least now he gives himself a chance to do it. Like, it's physically possible, whereas if he played out the game, there was no way.
Another mulligan for Dakota.
And nope. Ryan.
All right,
looks
so
like
Ryan's
going to
get an additional card. That's a big advantage, even though he already has a distinct type advantage in this matchup. And from the way I see it, Dakota needs to get Golisopod set up very, very quickly. Needs to first impression down that basic baby Volcanion to prevent the setup that Ryan will have onto his Volcanion EX and Turtonator on the bench. If that Golisopod can come out early, another mulligan.
Yeah. And even knocking out the baby Volcanion is very difficult. It's 130 HP, non-GX, so Choice Band won't even hit it.
No, and First Impression
and
only
First Impression
does
only
120.
Goes 120. So how do you even knock out the baby Volcanion? You have to hit it with Tapu Koko spread first, and then go into First Impression. That's a lot to knock out a one-prize attacker that is literally only having one energy dedicated to it. That's just so little.
Maybe you go all in with Tapu Lele's. Maybe you just load up some double colorless onto your Tapu Lele, and that's the biggest damage you're going to get. I don't know.
That's not even a two-shot. You're literally, like, it's so bad. I think you absolutely have to go with Tapu Koko, deal 20 damage spread, and then go with First Impression. Or you do what he tried to do last game and just get multiple Tapu Kokos. Just spread
get flying flip as much as you possibly can. Those are only one prize takes, obviously, when Ryan knocks them out. So you can afford to sacrifice a couple of your Tapu Kokos to weaken the board, soften the board up enough that you can then come in and knock out everything with First Impression on that Golisopod.
I mean, you have a Rangaroo as well. That's going to at least net you one prize most of the time on the baby Volcanions, and it's only going to trade one prize. But the main issue with that is you're dedicating a DCE plus another energy, plus a grass energy, most likely, for what? One fire energy that is also accelerating the energies.
And I mean, he would have the option with a grass and a DCE to crossing cut to knock out a baby Volcanion, but then you're using your GX attack very early on to pick up one prize, and you still need 2 turns of energy development onto the Golisopod.
Yep. And what are you even getting to promote active once you do that?
Well, it looks like Dakota he's starting Young Goose. Obviously, he has the Gumshoes tech in the deck. Great against Kiawe-based fire decks like Ho-Oh Salazzle, and fantastic against Gardevoir decks that put a lot of energy onto the active very early on. Can take that knockout with the Gumshoes, GX Gumshoes Chance attack.
Yeah.
But this is not that Kiawe fire deck. This fire deck is not running Kiawe at all.
No, this fire deck is just running the baby Volcanion as the setup into just Volcanion, Turtonator, whatever he wants to attack with, whatever he's feeling today. And that's just going to be bad news for Dakota.
Is climbing a mountain right now, and Ryan he's leisurely walking around a mall. It is going to be very tough for Dakota to bring this one back. But because he scooped the first game early, he does potentially have the time to get the job done.
Yeah, and it looks like Dakota's just going to attach a fire energy or a grass energy to the Young Goose. Ultra Ball, probably going to get a Tapu Lele here if he doesn't have a supporter in hand. Otherwise, you're just going to go for probably Tapu Koko. That seems like the ideal pick here.
Yeah, picks up the Koko. He's running 3 copies of Tapu Lele. That seems pretty standard across the board, unless you are this Volcanion build, which is running 0.
Yeah, Volcanion, I mean, they're just about getting that like consistency, and they don't want to give up easy prizes, I guess. Or they don't need a free retreater either. Like, they play card switch.
One copy of Switched is teched in. And then you're running 4 Sycamore, 4N, obviously. You have that Lily, which is an extra draw support to make up for the lack of Tapu Lele. So there's so much cycle in this deck with the consistent draw supporters that you don't really need Tapu Lele. I mean, if you're looking... Oh, no, you're absolutely right. No Tapu Koko. He's got 2 Tapu Lele. What am I talking about?
I mean, I was assuming you were talking about Tapu Koko.
No, I just wasn't reading correctly.
It's okay, Cora.
Disregard everything that I just said.
It's okay, Cora. Not all of us went to first grade.
No, that's a fact. I did. You just wouldn't know it.
No.
It was a long time ago, Ray.
It was.
The ABCs come and go.
It's understandable. It happens to the best of us.
Meh. What can you do? You say stupid things, you move on.
I mean, you don't know he doesn't play any Tapu Lele, even though we can see it right here. Oh, all right.
He plays 2 of them. That's a fact. So he's got a lot of draw.
Is set up for Dakota. He's going to go in with a flying flip. 20 damage to everything. He is, I mean, that's the best he can do. He's doing the best he can.
Get that spread train rolling, but the Enhanced Hammer going to shut that down, get rid of that DCE. Force Dakota into a very similarly awkward position to the last game.
But that is a no supporter turn from Ryan, and he's just flipping 2 cards around in his hand that they look like Pokemon to me. So if Ryan doesn't pick up a supporter, there's a chance Dakota just ends up taking the game.
Well, it's a great thing that Ryan runs 2 copies of Tapu Lele now, isn't it?
Oh, man.
2 extra draws to hit the supporters. Wow,
I mean,
what a smart guy.
Yeah, who would have thought? Tapu Lele is a good card.
Who would have ever thought that he wouldn't run Tapu Lele in his deck? That would just be incredibly stupid.
I mean, what's more stupid is the person who thinks he doesn't run it.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you in any way.
Sorry.
I think that's what I was saying, wasn't it?
Like you said, we move on.
We're going to keep coming back to this one for a while.
I mean, I'm not going to let it go, but that's okay.
That's all right by me. Okay. Tapu Koko now in the active, 70 damage on it, but 2 flying flips means that this board is softened up enough. If Golisopod comes out, it can get a kill with first impression.
Yeah, on just about anything if it has the
choice band
attached to it. And we see here the Gumshoes GX.
Ooh.
That's actually a pretty good attacker against Volcanion.
He's a killer.
That's a good attacker against Volcanion. If Dakota is able to Guzma up that Volcanion, he can do, 100 damage right now?
The base attack is just a 3 energy, 100 damage.
Yep, and the Gumshoe's chance is also doing 100, I believe, which means if he finds a choice band, he can actually Gumshoe's chance for 1 energy here. Like, if he Guzmas up the Volcanion, he could hit for, 130 right now? That's not enough, but... you're close.
He's getting close.
So 1 more flying flip will put it in range of being Gumshoed down.
Yep, Gumshoe's chance is, it's 50 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So you have 50 times 2 right now, 100, so 110 for the Gumshoe's chance with 40 already on the Volcanion EX. If there was a choice band on the Gumshoes, then we would actually have the knockout onto the 180 health point Volcanion. So that 10 extra from the Gumshoe's chance base damage coming in very handy here. And then you can see Headbutt Bounce, of course, just 3 colorless for a base 100. It gives Dakota the additional ability to reveal your opponent's hand once per turn.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think he actually searched the premises last turn, but you assume that your opponent's hand is dead.
But you would still probably want to do it every turn.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Keep track of what they've drawn, play around whatever you can.
Oh, and here it comes. Here's the Guzma. It looks like, he's not going with Gumshoe's chance. He doesn't want to use the GX attack if he doesn't have to. He's just going to first impression and knock out that Volcanion. And Ryan, he dead draws again. He drew Floatstone. It looks like he just drew an N, though. So it looks like he's going to have some game. And honestly, he can still definitely win this game if he is able to set up with Baby Volcanion this turn.
Well, the Volcanion and the 2 fire energy being put back with the Super Rod.
Oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why would you put 2 fire energies back when you want to use them to set up? That could be huge. Because he wants to power up with Power Heater Why would you put them back? I don't understand this play from Ryan.
He put them... He was going to end anyway.
Yeah, but you don't.
But yeah, you want a power
discard.
heater and pull them onto your bench.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would put them back in your deck when you're most likely going to use power heater this turn.
All right, Ray, let's find the lines. Come on, let's think this one through.
I honestly cannot see a reason.
Let's think this one through, Ray.
I thought it through already. I cannot see a reason why you would Super Rod the energies back in the deck.
Maybe he'd rather have them in his hand. Maybe he wanted
to have energies in your deck to draw.
But maybe he wanted to ensure that he was going to get some energies, and I don't think he hit them,
anyways.
Actually. So
clearly this was a bad plan. I am a results-oriented caster, Cora.
Yeah, we can see that, Ray. We can see that.
All right. It looks like this is just going to be
he's going to whiff on the energy attach, and now he can't actually equip anything with power heater either. So...
Oh, man. This... is going to be a search the premises. That is Dakota's just seeing the hand. Ryan doesn't have really anything going for him right now. If Dakota finds a Guzma, oh wow.
He finds the Guzma, he's got the choice band equipped.
Huge.
Bring out that Coco. You're going to bring back that Golisopod.
Yeah, you're just
first impression for the knockout.
No, he could just keep spreading here.
He could.
If he wants to.
That Turtonator's not really a threat right now. It has no energy on it. But take that knockout, get those 2 prizes. And now Dakota just needs 2 more prizes. And he's tied up this series 1-1. Still 29 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to get through Game 3.
We might see a full 3 games here. That's actually rare in this format to see full 3 games. Usually it's
they're longer games in general.
Yeah, usually it's a 2-0 sweep, which is what I actually thought this was going to be. No offense, Dakota. I love you, but...
It's a bad matchup. It's a really bad matchup. No way you cut it. If the Volcanion gets set up very quickly, then even though Golisopod is a fast, big attacker for 1 energy, Volcanion's going to knock you out with 3 energy every single time.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like we're just going to see another power heater. I mean, it's hitting for weakness, but honestly... That's not enough. All his Dakota needs here is to knock out this Volcanion, and then he has the Guzma in hand, so he can finish off. Honestly, he could finish off almost anything here with the Gumshoe's attack.
He can with Gumshoe's chance.
If he
50 times the amount of energy on your opponent's active.
Okay, so I like what he's doing here. He's just going to bring up the Volcanion. He's most likely going to soften it up with the Golisopod, or he's just going to Gumshoe's chance. Now for 100, I doubt that's going to happen. He's most likely just going to first impression.
No, he's going to bring up the Lele.
Yeah. He's just going to use the energy drive attack and do 80 damage. I like this a lot.
It's enough that now Golisopod finishes it off next turn. Gumshoes finishes it off with the 2 energy attached to the Volcanion. Even if Ryan doesn't attach another one, Gumshoe's chance will deal the extra 100 that it takes to get that exact knockout on the Volcanion EX. So really nice 2-turn plan from Dakota. Is Ryan running Acerola in his list? He is not.
No,
I'm going to double check one more time because we know that my reading comprehension skills are compromised. No, he does not have it. So he's got to get this Volcanion out of the active.
Now let me check.
Yep, double check, triple check. Can I get a judge over here to read this to me?
No, there's no Acerola in the list. There is no way to heal, which means this Volcanion, as long as there are energies on the Gumshoes or the Golisopod, it's useless.
Yep, this Volcanion is a liability.
He cannot attach an attack with it. Otherwise, he immediately loses the game.
He needs to
retreat
somehow
into Baby
kill
Volcanion.
The Gumshoes and the Golisopod.
He needs to retreat into Baby Volcanion, set up another Volcanion EX, and then, like...
But if Dakota is ever able to find another Guzma to get this Volcanion EX in the active that has the 80 damage on it, he can get the knockout and win the game.
Yeah, and it looks like Dakota ends up winning the game here. Ryan is just going to concede. He knows the game is over. Dakota put him in checkmate, and Dakota is going to take game 2, and now there's 25 minutes left. There is enough time to finish game 3.
Yep, there's more than enough time. We've gotten through 2 games in a little bit under half the time. Dakota managing to bring this series back in an unfavored matchup. He's going to need to do it again, but he played exactly to his outs. Soften up the large Pokemon on the bench, the basics, until you're able to get the knockouts with the Golisopod, with the Gumshoes. Ryan is going to need to get a better start this time around than he did last time. He whiffed a supporter. He was left with a 2-card hand, didn't get much draw, didn't have the energy he needed to attach every turn. It was just a much slower start than in Game 1.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, that's what Dakota's going to – he's going to really need a miracle here. He's going to need Ryan to whiff supporters again or something along those lines, because if Ryan's able to get the start that he got Game 1, there is no way that Dakota can beat that with this deck. I just don't see it happening. And it looks like they're both fairly comfortable with the amount of time. They're just taking their time. There's really no need to rush things.
This is either a blowout for Volcanion or Volcanion whiffs entirely, and Golisopod also is a very fast deck. So you get those early kills. It's going to be fast either way. That's why we've seen 2 very quick games already.
From Dakota, to me, it looked like his only supporter in hand was a Guzma. And if that is the case, and he doesn't have an Ultra Ball, this is going to be very bad for Dakota.
Whew,
Ryan,
what a start for Ryan.
Yep, Ryan chooses to go first Game 3 because he lost Game 2. And this hand is looking much
it's fire.
better. You're so funny. It's fire. I get it. Get it? Because he's a fire deck, Cora.
No, that's not why.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Oh, why?
Because it's real good.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was wrong. My bad.
You know what they say about people who assume, Ray? You're right, and I just debated you.
Oh, no. I know what they say.
But we don't need to say that.
No. No, we do not. And it looks like Ryan is just going to Juniper here. Sycamore. Oh, I did it again. They're the same thing. Except one gets you disqualified from the tournament and the other doesn't.
Very different things. All right, finds the second Volcanion EX and the third Volcanion EX. Okay, now Ryan has access to 3 steam-ups if he wants them and has the energy available. That's an extra 180 against a Golisopod. I don't think you need that much damage, but he has damage all over the place. Damage abound.
And Dakota does have access to supporters. He has the Tapu Lele. He's going to get most likely a Bridget here. Just set up. I like this a lot. Probably just going to get 2 Tapu Kokos and then maybe another Wimpod. Maybe 3 Tapu Kokos.
If he can hit a DCE on this first turn, Wimpod obviously has free retreat. With Wimp out, you can get it out of there, get the Tapu Koko on, start spreading the damage, soften them all up, and now you've got the Wimpod on the bench to start setting up that Golisopod. But that requires a DCE.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going to get the basic Gumshoe. Oh, wow. Okay, so he's going for a Rangaroo. And he's going back in with a Heavy Ball. So he's just going to get the – most likely just get Golisopod here. He might get another Wimpod to help set up more.
Yep.
This is still his first turn. So Wimpod has free retreat.
Yes. You can get the Wimpod out, promote the Koko if you've got DCE Flying Flip.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to note that there was a ruling
doesn't have it
that was announced that if it is the first turn of the game, people were arguing that Wimpod, you cannot get it with a Heavy Ball because it has free retreat on the first turn of the game. Heavy Ball says they need to have 3 or more.
Yes, and the ability says during the first turn it has no retreat cost. But
it was ruled that Wimpod could be taken out of the deck.
Yeah, abilities to me are only active once they are in your hand.
Yeah.
So that would make some sense to me. But then again, there are some really crazy rules in Pokemon that don't make a lot of sense but somehow still work. So I guess you never know. It wouldn't be completely surprising.
Yeah, Ryan here, he's able to discard 3 fire energies while having that Volcanion active. This Power Heater is going to be very strong here. He's going to start setting up his Volcanions, EXs, and this is going to be huge for Ryan. Once those Volcanions get set up, how does Dakota deal with anything? Like, all of his attackers are just going to get one-shot, and he's not even one-shotting back outside of maybe a Wimpod with a Choice Band, but
if he had that DCE,
or not a Wimpod. A Wimpod cannot knock out a Volcanion.
No,
the
no, it
Gumshoes.
can't. If Dakota had that DCE, could have promoted the Tapu Koko, could have started flying flip, maybe gotten 2 of those down, and then the Golisopod would have had the knockout potentially with the Choice Band onto the Volcanion or the Turtonator, but only having the grass means that Dakota was forced to attach to the Tapu Lele, maybe start setting that up as plan B. But I don't see plan A being good enough in most scenarios, so plan B likely is not going to work out.
100%, and it looks like Ryan has one fully powered up Volcanion, going for a second one, getting full value out of Power Heater. That's exactly what this deck wants to do. That's why he's not playing cards like... I
mean, when you can discard 3, steam up 3 times, do 110 to the Oranguru, and then pull 2 back onto your bench, why wouldn't you?
You don't need a Kiawe when you're just attaching 3 per turn anyways, naturally, with your attack and
this deck
your
is,
attachment.
It's faster to set up multiple Pokemon, whereas Kiawe is centered all around usually a Ho-Oh. You get the early kill with the Ho-Oh, and you clean up everything else with Salazzle. But it's very much centered on that one active Pokemon attacker.
Yeah. Actually, this Gumshoes tech is, I mean, it's for Gardevoir and Ho-Oh, but it's going to come in. I think it's going to come in clutch in this matchup.
Well, if you think about it, all of the Volcanion EXs, they want to have 3 energy on them to be able to Volcanic Heat to attack. If you've got a Gumshoes with a Choice Band on it, then Gumshoes' chance is getting that knockout.
Exactly. And there's a chance that, I mean, Ryan might not be able to set up more Volcanion after this one. Very unlikely, and oh, wow. We
Sycamore, a Guza, a Float Stone.
Your boy Guzma's there. Your boy not Juniper's there.
Yep, that's not her.
Yep.
She's chill, but she had her era.
Sycamore. Different professors. There's so many professors. Sometimes you just lose track. It looks like we're going to retreat the Rangaroo here. Promote Tapu Koko. And, oh, man, this is not looking good for Dakota. He just passes the turn to Ryan.
That's horrible.
And, oh, man.
Still not able to find a double colorless energy, I believe. Or he would have liked to have started spreading that damage early on.
He has it in the hand, but he already attached to the Gumshoes.
The Gumshoes.
So he cannot spread with Tapu Koko. But
this will stall.
It will stall. And if he does attach to spread, it allows Ryan to activate his enhanced hammers, whereas normally if he doesn't attach to DCE, they're just dead cards in his hand that he might have to Juniper away, which we actually might see here. He goes with the Super Rod. Super Rodding the fire back in. That's so interesting to me that he keeps doing that when he has.
He wants to draw it to be able
heater.
to steam up. He can, if he has 3 fire energy in hand, can power heater for 110.
Yeah.
If he can get the knockout on that Tapu Koko, that would be big.
I mean, he can already get it with the Volcanion EX if he wants to, but like we said earlier, he doesn't necessarily want to do that because of the Gumshoes. And here we go. We see a Fighting Fury Belt. Now Volcanion is out of the range of Gumshoes. Gumshoes can only do 180.
With a Choice Band and the 3 energy on the Volcanion. That's a big deal. It's going to give the Volcanion 40 extra health, 10 extra damage, even though it doesn't really need it.
And here's a Max Elixir from Ryan. He hits the fire energy. He almost has another Volcanion completely set up. And he's going to be knocking out the Tapu Koko this turn with Volcanion EX. Oh,
he can retreat, or he can triple steam up and get the kill with the
power
basic
heater.
Volcanion power heater if he wants to put 2 more energy on the bench. Do you want to give up gross. 3 of your energy? I don't know. But
yes,
he has that
you
option.
just reattach it, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. That would be insane if that happens.
Nah, he's going to bring it out. Promote Volcanion EX.
He's just going to start attacking. The Tapu Koko's down. And I don't think he can really get punished here since he has such a strong setup. He has multiple ways to just knock out Golisopod, maybe even knock out the Gumshoes EX with some uses of the Volcanion's ability, Steam Up. That ability just allows your range to be so high when you have 3 Volcanions on the board.
The fact that you can stack that ability is incredible. And this Volcanion, because of the effect of Volcanic Heat, won't be able to attack next turn, so Ryan's going to want to try to likely swap this one out for his other setup Volcanion on the bench, whether that be through Guzma. He obviously can't attach a Float Stone because he already has Fighting Fury Belt on there. Could even just choose to sacrifice the energy to get out that other Volcanion EX to ensure he has another knockout this turn.
Oh, man. Search the premise. I believe that was a full art supporter and energy. Ryan has everything he needs for next turn. Dakota does not like to see this. And he's going to retreat the Wimpod. Looks like he's just going to bring up the Tapu Lele. He's going to do, what, 100 damage?
It's a start,
it's a start.
He is struggling.
Yeah, this is just kind of sad.
Ryan's likely going to have the fire energy available next turn to steam up multiple times to get the knockout on the Lele.
Yeah, he actually doesn't even need... He has 1, so he is automatically doing 170 with the Fighting Fury Belt, so he only needs to discard 1.
The Volcanion in the active position, Volcanic Heated last turn, so it cannot attack this turn. He would need the additional damage on the Volcanion on his bench if he's able to bring it out with a Guzma or a switch.
If he has Guzma, he can just go into the Floatstone Volcanion and retreat to the damaged Volcanion.
Yes, and then because it hit the bench, it is recognized as a new Volcanion and can attack with its attack again, Volcanic Heat, even though it attacked last turn.
Yeah.
There's one of those weird rules I'm talking about.
Yeah, there we see a Lily just to draw up to 6 cards. Try to get some way to retreat this Volcanion without having to discard all the energies that you have attached to it, because that Volcanion's retreat is 3. That's a lot of energies. That's all your energies on your Volcanion. And it looks like he has to just suck it up and retreat it, and he's not even going into his second Volcanion. He didn't find the fire energy to attack with. Or
he is going to use Turtonator's GX attack. You take up to 5 energy from your discard and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like.
Yes, and it looks like he's going to power up the Turtonator, power up both Volcanion with 2 energies, not leaving himself open to get Gumshoot or something like that. You're giving yourself a lot of options, and on top of that, you are completely mitigating the loss of the energies that you had the last turn.
Yeah, I mean, this fire deck burns through energy very quickly, right? You're sacrificing energy every turn to steam up to ensure that you get the knockouts with your Volcanion EX. You've got Super Rod, you've got your baby Volcanion to be able to pull the energy directly onto your bench, but attaching 5 energy from your discard any way that you like is the ultimate form of setup.
Yes, and now you have a damaged Volcanion that is energyless, which means it's just going to sit there on the bench. And if Dakota ends up targeting it down, Ryan doesn't really care that much.
You got a fire energy, a Guzma in hand for Ryan, so he has the ability to target whatever he wants.
Yeah, but, oh man, Dakota, he just has to do 100 damage again. That's just not going to cut it.
Nope.
At the end of the day, that is not going to be enough.
Ryan going to add 40 additional health to the Turtonator with the Fighting Fury Belt.
Plus the 10 damage is huge, because that means he doesn't have to steam up to get the knockout.
He can just Bright Flame.
Exactly. That's just going to be a knockout. And at this point, what does Dakota have that can deal 90? He has Gumshoes. That doesn't even deal 90 anymore because he discards the 2 energies. Gumshoes is doing 50. Plus Choice Band, that's 80. What does he have? He has Tapu Lele.
He's got a Lele with a DCE on the bench.
That's doing 60. You add the Choice Band, that's 90. But then you're getting your Tapu Lele knocked out.
Yep.
You're
leaving Ryan with only one prize. With only one prize to take.
Oh, that.
All right, Gumshoes has a chance.
Yeah.
It's going to be 200 damage, but this Volcanion has 180 base and then the 40 from the Fighting Fury Belt, so that's 220. Can Dakota attach a Choice Band this turn?
I think it's actually only 160. 10 plus 150.
You're right.
Yeah. So it's only going to be 160.
You're right. It has the 10 base.
But even if it was doing 200, that's still not enough damage. He needs to be dealing 220 damage here. So there's no way to reach that number here. He can reach 190 maximum. That's just not good enough.
You're still shy.
You are still shy of the damage needed. So
the Volcanions are just never going to attach enough energy for Gumshoe chance to work out. Against a Ho-Oh that has 4 energy on it from a Kiawe, Gumshoe chance is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Got 190 base, you deal 200. There you go. There's your knockout. This is not the case.
The upside of Gumshoes is that it has 210 HP. It's able to take a hit, most likely. So,
although look at Ryan's bench now. All of his Pokemon have significant damage counters on him, right? There's 140 on the Volcanion, 100 on another Volcanion, then 100 on the Turtonator. So these Pokemon are prime for Dakota to be picking off if he has the attacker. If he puts a DCE on the Gumshoes, he can just headbutt bounce for 100 every turn. That's enough to knock out what Ryan has on the bench. So he's got to be kind of wary now.
I think the only out for Dakota here in a realistic world is to Guzma up Ryan's Volcanion that has the Fighting Fury belt.
The 100 damage on it.
The 100 damage on it. Because he can't float stone it. He can't realistically retreat it. Look at how many energies are on the board. How many energies are even in his deck? There's only 15. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the board. Probably some amount in the discard. Maybe even one prized. There's not that many energy left available for him. So if Dakota can Guzma up Volcanion and Ryan whiffs his own Guzma or the switch, and then Dakota's able to end Ryan and just start flipping for 20 damage spread until he gets multiple knockouts.
But he's got to knock out both Volcanion for that to work out.
Yes.
The second Volcanion just comes up and knocks out whatever it is that Dakota has in play. It looks like he's thinking about attaching the DCE to the Gumshoes to make headbutt bounce viable, but he could also put it on the Lele.
I think that would work.
Well, the Volcanion with 100 damage on it has 220 health now because of the Fighting Fury belt. Gumshoe's headbutt bounce only does 100. There's 100 on that Volcanion, so you're still looking for 20 damage somewhere. If he doesn't have the choice band, you don't have access to that 20 damage. He's going to end. So Dakota draws 6. Ryan goes to 2. This is what Dakota needs to start to pull himself back into this matchup. If Ryan whiffs and Dakota gets a great hand, then maybe he has a chance. But Ryan is just looking for one EX or GX knockout with 2 Lele's primed on that bench for the knockout.
Oh, man. It didn't look like Dakota even hit a Guzma there. He can't even stall next turn. I'm not sure what he can do here. If Ryan hits the Guzma, the game is just over automatically if he has any fire energy, because that's going to be 170 onto the Tapu Lele.
Yep, the Guzma and the Steam Up will just end the game.
And it looks, oh, wow. We see a triple Steam Up. And that's just going to end the game because he retreats. He uses the Volcanic Heat. 130, 160, 190, 220. That's a knockout onto the Gumshoes.
Out of there. And Ryan Sabelhause is going to take his second round match, 2-1 over Dakota Gillanders. Unfortunate for Dakota, he's going to go down to a 1-1 record, but there's still 7 more rounds today. Great start for Ryan Sabelhause. We're actually, having walked around a little bit, seeing a lot of this style of Volcanion deck. It didn't seem like going into this tournament that this would be the fire deck that most people would be opting to play. But now we're certainly seeing why it is very strong. It sets up a lot faster on a lot more Pokemon than the Ho-Oh Kiawe fire build does. Seems like a very strong option.
Yeah, it's not as fragile. You're setting up multiple things. You are not really just dedicating yourself to this all-in plan of, I have to hit Kiawe on turn 1, or
I just can't do anything.
I just lose.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose... That if you whiff the Kiawe on 1 for some reason, you don't hit Ultra Ball, you don't hit Lele, and then if you lose your Ho-Oh in the attacking position, If you don't get those additional prize cards in the early stage, then Salazzle's not going to be able to clean up from then on out. So this seems like perhaps a more consistent build, though not as strong in the early stages, because you can set up 2 or 3 Volcanions at one time. You've got that Turtonator for Nitro Flame GX, or Nitro Tank. It's just a much more consistent build. So congratulations to Ryan Sabelhause. He's going to take his round 2 match, and we're going to be getting round number 3 underway as quickly as we can. Don't go anywhere, guys. Pokemon TCG Hartford Regional Championships continue.